Hey everyone, if you've seen my videos before, welcome back. If you are new to my videos, my name is Ross and I'm an intuitive counselor. Today's video is about uncertainty on the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is something that I really love to talk about. You've probably heard me allude to it in different videos. And the hero's journey is kind of like the cycle that we go through in our life that is moving us forward and up leveling us essentially. And the hero's journey is something that is seen in every movie that we watch. It's this mapped out cycle that was first shared by Joseph Campbell. And Joseph Campbell really brought clarity to, this cycle that we're always going through. And this cycle shows up in bigger ways in our life as an overarching theme, and it also shows up in smaller ways in our everyday life as well. And when we become aware of this cycle, we can start to notice where we are. Not dissimilar from the seasons, like moving through the seasons, spring, summer, winter, fall and winter. Um, the hero's journey is quite similar. And in its most simplest form, the hero's journey is three phases: separation, initiation, and return. And we're always going through that. We're always letting go of something and moving through something, and we're always being invited to go through the next cycle of the hero's journey. So I wanted to focus on the middle part of that journey, which is the initiation, and look at it through the lens of uncertainty. Uncertainty, in my experience, and I think in witnessing other people's experience, uncertainty is one of the hardest things to be with because uncertainty is kind of born from our emotional trauma. We need to be able to rely on something. And when we are in situations that create our emotional trauma, there's not a lot to hang on to or anchor ourselves. And in that experience, it creates uncertainty. And so as we grow and move on from our emotional trauma, and not necessarily heal yet, like this idea of like moving and growing older, we start to seek out certainty in our life. And that might show up in ways of like trying to control, that might show up in, controlling our environment. The example that comes to mind for me is I lived in uncertainty as a child. Every day was different, every day was unpredictable. And looking back, I realized that there were certain things that I would do to manage my uncertainty and create certainty. And things like alphabetizing my cassette tapes. Yep, cassette tapes. I'm that old. Um, Organizing my car collection, my Matchbox cars in a certain way. Everything needed to be organized in my room. Everything had its place. And so in dealing with uncertainty, I would become hypervigilant about my belongings and control what I could control. And that's what we do in order to create certainty. The thing is that this middle phase of the hero's journey, the initiation, is all about being in that space of not knowing, being in that space of not knowing where it's going to end up. I've spent the last 7 years working in treatment at an addiction center. And what I noticed in those journeys of, people arrive at the center, they've made the decision to come, they've gone through that first phase of separation, and they make the decision to cross the threshold and come into the center. And there's this moment of no turning back. And the 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long they decide to stay, that is their initiation. That is their uncertainty. They don't know that they're going to get their needs met. They're hoping that when they leave that they are at a better place, that they will no longer step into their addiction, that the things that were contributing to their addiction from within are shifting and they have a new view of the world. But there's no guarantees. And so that time of being in that initiation is all about being in the uncertainty of it. And like I said, we're not good at being in that phase, and yet it's a very, very important part of stepping up into that next level. And so how can we make that more manageable? And these are skills that we need to learn and practice. But I think the first thing is to really trust. And when I think of trust, it really connects with some sort of connection to spirituality, trusting that we're taken care of, trusting that we're on the right path. And it really goes right along with surrender, like this idea of just handing over um, the situation to a higher power. And that really, goes into the wisdom of the things like the serenity prayer and the focus of AA and the idea of connecting to a higher power. Because we can't do it alone. We need someone to walk with us. And this is very much about reconnecting to this deeper part of ourselves as we go through this experience. The other thing is we need to commit. We need to really put both feet forward and commit to the journey and commit to the process. And when we do that, we're no longer fighting it and we are saying yes to this process. The last thing that is really important on this phase of uncertainty in the initiation is to imagine the reality that you want to create. What is it that you want to step into on the other side of this initiation? What is it that you want to bring back to your community? What is it that you want to return with in terms of the knowledge that you've gained in this experience? And that is super important because when we envision what that end result looks like, we can easier manage that uncertainty in that middle phase. So I think I'll leave it there. Hopefully there was something in this video that was helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it. If you think someone else you know would benefit from it, please consider sharing. And if you're interested in my work, you can visit my website. My link to the website is in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again. And I wish you unconditional love.